You're watching the Afia Business Morning. This is the Eastern Business Report, which is designed to bring you up to speed on business activities and policies affecting businesses and the economy of the southeastern region of Nigeria. It comes right out to global business on the Afia Business Morning, and today we will be looking at issues bordering on the commissioning of the state-owned mega asphalt plant, the socio-economic implication. Just for the sake of emphasis, the Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mbah, had commissioned a mega asphalt production plant built by his administration as a catalyst to ensure the construction of 10,000 railroads he promised the people of Enugu. Inaugurating the plant in Enugu, Governor Mbah also explained that the state would, in addition, produce the inputs for asphalt production, pointing out that the moves would drastically reduce the cost of road construction for the state. Now, this will form the basis of our conversation this morning. My name is Ubong Kings. Welcome. You're welcome back to the Eastern Business Report, and joining me on this conversation is none other than the head news and current affairs, Afia TV, Afia Radio, and the person of Alex Ogbodo. Alex, good morning. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Kings.
Yes, quickly, you were at that particular event. Yes. But before I talk to you, let's look at that report real quickly, and when we come back, we'll be looking at different angles to this reportage. Please stay.
Behind me is the ultra-modern Enugu Asphalt plant. This is meant to facilitate Dr. Peter Mbah's resolve to give Enugu State 10,000 kilometers of road. With the mammoth crowd that came out to witness the epoch-making event, Governor Peter Mbah, during his speech, reiterated his government's commitment to delivering 10,000 kilometers of road in 8 years. He said that the coming on stream of the plant will enhance construction of access roads for enhanced food production in the rural areas.
This is an event that brings us closer to our dream of kissing our collapsed roads, our unpaved roads goodbye. You recall that in my one-year anniversary speech, I alluded to the fact that the commitment we made in our manifesto to pave at least 10,000 kilometers of road over the next 8 years was not a mere posturing. It was not because we wanted to gain some political relevance. We made those commitments because we knew it was realizable. But in order for us to realize it, we needed to innovate. We're also committed to making sure that we produce the inputs. So it's not just production of asphalt where we have to buy the inputs. We're also, in a few days from now, we're also going to be inaugurating a plant where we're going to be mining and crushing the stones that we need to feed these plants. So we're going to have everything in Enugu localized. We're also blessed with bitumen. So we're not going to go too far to procure our bitumen. It is our hope that we're going to start the exploration of our bitumen in the state.
The Project Development Implementation Director, Oke Nwatu, highlighted the complexities and importance of the asphalt plant.
Since assuming office in May 2023, your administration has shown us unflinching commitment to transforming the Enugu State landscape, ensuring that it becomes a pillar of progress and development not just in Nigeria, but across Africa and the entire world. Your Excellency, your dream of achieving a 10,000 kilometer of asphalted road in Enugu State is not just ambitious, but indeed achievable. With the commissioning of this state-of-art asphalt plant today, we are one significant step closer to achieving this dream. This is a fabbing product and it's eco-friendly, and undoubtedly will help the citizens to benefit from smoother, safer and durable road network.
The plant technical officer, Mitesh Prajapati, explained the working processes of the plant.
This one our fabbing company for asphalt plant. This one is capacity per horse for 160 ton per hours, 160 ton production. Every 45 seconds, 2 ton asphalt for drop truck inside. Okay, this one is total pollution, water tank, smoke, everything is controller asphalt plant. Apart for this one is everything, bitumen, designer, everything, quality, everything is good and approved for quality, export quality from India. This one our all system is right, our name, this one is a bitumen tank. Each tank capacity 30 ton, each tank. We have our storage 4 tank. Okay.
The Enugu State Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Engineer Gerald Otiji, described the project as a surprise package meant to bring the dream of 10,000-kilometer road construction target to reality.
Sir, I'm not saying this because I work in your administration, but sometimes I look behind. I remember the day you took the oath of office, you said, "My dear people, I will give you the best. I will work with every single vein you have in your body." I can attest to that. May God bless you. Sir, you, like the SP has said, you made the pronouncement of paving 10,000 kilometers of road. It was mind-boggling at the time. But working with you every day, connecting all the dots, some you said, some you disclosed to us, some you did not. But the dots, we can see the picture coming, the chicken coming home to roast. We can see the clearer picture, something you've already thought, and you're already bringing that tomorrow here.
Then came the moment for the commissioning of the brand new asphalt plant.
I'm truly delighted to inaugurate and commission this asphalt production plant to the collective benefit of Ndi Enugu and to the glory of God. Amen.
With the commissioning of this asphalt plant, Enugu is now well on its way to delivering 10,000 kilometers of asphalted road within 8 years. The governor said so during his address at the commissioning of this plant. So it is hoped this is the reality of the new Enugu State. And from the ultra-modern asphalt plant here in MN Enugu, Alex Obodo for Afia TV News.
All right, then that's it. I'm grateful that it was you were the one there, right? So it's not like I'm going to be hearing from one source. I'm hearing from you. You were there. Now, first and foremost, your general thoughts on this development.
I'll start by responding as an Enugu person,
Right.
Not as a journalist. I am quite excited about the concept of having an asphalt plant in Enugu, the first of its kind in the southeast. I don't know how many other places will have asphalt plants owned by state governments in Nigeria, but at least this is the first in the southeast. Secondly, if you, as a government, if you have the plan to do 10,000 kilometers of road, it will mean that you should have a plan to deliver that. You will not depend on other people's processes. And if you look at road construction, the key thing that you would need, the icing on the cake, the golden child in road construction is that thing you put on top, which is the asphalt. In many cases, it's the most expensive component, apart from maybe if you have culverts and bridges on the road you're constructing. So I think that it's a very nice thing he has done. What remains to be seen is whether the asphalt plant will deliver on that particular intention for which it was established. They said 160 ton a day.
Let me get to those details very quickly. It would produce 2.5 tons every minute, and 160 tons per hour.
Per hour.
Yeah, and then it would, what this effectively means that it's if people are working 20 hours a day, that would mean they can produce an approximate of 3,200 tons every day. of asphalt. This is, according to Mr. Governor, using his words exactly, he says, this is not seen anywhere in the Southeast. The question is, like you did say, delivering on this mandate. Now, we've seen a lot of government policies and government projects come up, but most of the time they don't live up to expectation. Do you see the possibility of this particular project living up to expectation?
Yeah, I would want to believe that it will deliver up to expectation. I don't see why you should really build this plant and it wouldn't work. And with the kind of society we have, the kind of pushback you will get if that asphalt plant refuses to work, it will be better you did not really put it up, because what I'm seeing now, even if you make an honest mistake as a government, you are attacked. You are attacked for even doing the right thing as a government. How much more building something this mega and it doesn't deliver? I pray as an Enugu person that it delivers, because it will mean that the road passing through maybe my village, maybe my street will be tarred. That's just a possibility of that happening. On that note, I have to be very, very excited and optimistic.
Okay, now, one other thing that comes to mind is we're having an issue of cost of living crisis versus other dilemma that the economy is facing. A lot of persons are asking, would you term this as timely, so to speak, or it's supposed to come later? Or basically your own opinion, do you think it is a timely investment in Enugu State, or it's something that should have come later or come before?
Well, I think this should have come last year. It should have come 5 years ago. So if that is the case, I understand that people will want to lash out at any government, not just Enugu State government, on any policy that comes out. They'll say, you are building an asphalt plant, why people are happy, or why people are hungry.
Hungry, yeah.
And then some other people will tell you, when you bring rice to share, is it only rice you people are sharing? There will always be some people that wouldn't like what is going on. But look at the intention of the asphalt plant. It's going to be a value chain. Remember, if you listen to the governor when he was talking, he talked about also sourcing the local materials from within Enugu.
Yeah. Bitumen,
bitumen, and he says that in a few days they're going to commission the quarry site where there will be crushing stones that will service the asphalt plant. And the bitumen is also here in Enugu. So if you put all that together, you're going to have a value chain, and people are going to be working in these places. I think that before we want to criticize any process, let's understand how that process will benefit the state. Let's look beyond whether this is done by a government or an individual. So if it was an individual that built the asphalt plant, would you be asking the individual, wouldn't you have built a rice mill where you'll be milling rice for people to eat? And you think that people will not work in the asphalt plant? So I believe that people, in trying to play politics with everything, you should also remember that there are very noble intentions for everything that is done. What you will now weigh is whether the noble intention actually outweighs the other intention. Because at the end of the day, there will be two sides or more than two sides to every story. If you belong to the opposition, your view about the asphalt plant will be different. If you're a neutral, an Enugu person, or someone who resides in Enugu but not from Enugu, your view might be different. But if you are from Enugu, you should be excited. You are asking government in one breath to build industries, to build factories, and the government builds one, and you are still complaining that they should have used it to build rice mill. What exactly do you want the government to do? They are building this to enable them to have more roads so that you can access the places you want to go and earn a living. Imagine that you need to come out from a place like Abani to Enugu, and ordinarily should take you maybe, let's say, 30 minutes. But with bad roads, it takes you 2 hours. So would you rather waste 1.5 hours on the road and not have the asphalt plant and remain like that, and then continue blaming the government for not performing? Remember, before the elections, one of the criticism, the biggest criticism the PDP had was for not fixing the roads in Enugu.
Right.
So I guess this is a response to that. Because at the end of the day, you rate a city with its road network, whether you like it or not. It's one of the best indices to rate a city, whether the city is really up to its claim to be a city to be reckoned with.
Right, right. Good point there. But and I know that one of the things that this was supposed to achieve, already it is intended, is to drastically reduce the cost of road construction in the state. And given the fact that the asphalt plant is here, and we have some components here also, I mean, it pretty much looks that way, that the cost of that will reduce. But there's something else that came to mind. There was this argument. I remember I was able to connect with you live that day when it happened, but we didn't have the luxury of time to really talk because you were anticipating the coming of the governor. But let's look at something critically now. And one of the arguments that's come up in many quarters was or is cement versus asphalt. I know I brought it up earlier on that day, but we didn't have the luxury of time to dissect this matter. Another person of the opinion. What if we had a cement factory functional here compared to an asphalt, knowing that cement has more, versatility when it comes to the construction industry? That was the argument. What are your thoughts?
Good point, but you also take a look at how long would it take to build a cement factory and how long would it take to build an asphalt plant? Because time is of the essence. As we are having all these arguments, people are still blaming government for not doing anything. That's just the truth. Go to social media and see what people who are supposed to be reasonable are saying. Anytime something happens, they just blindly blame everybody. They call out everybody for absolutely no reason. So now, I believe that both can be on board, actually. They have 8 years to go, maybe, if he wins a re-election. So there is enough time. But I'm not sure the government will want to go and build a cement factory,
right?
I think a cement factory is a much more bigger project than the asphalt plant they have rolled out. If you took a look, you notice that the asphalt plant is sitting on a compact land space.
Yes, yeah.
It didn't take up a huge expanse of land. But if you are to build a cement factory, first of all, you need to site it on the limestone site where you source the raw materials. You're not supposed to site a cement factory and then you move to, say, Abakaliki to go and get limestone.
Right.
You must have it in huge quantities. And I know that could be limestone, especially in that axis, going towards a boy. The Enugu side, if you're going towards, I know. But then, before you take a step establishing a cement factory, you must be sure that you have sustained supply of limestone, because limestone is basically the real thing you use in producing. And well, other things they use might not be as critical as limestone, but limestone is the big thing. And that's why Niger Simon Kalago was located in Nkalago. Nkalago has an abundant supply of limestone.
Yeah.
Till tomorrow. All right? So I'm not sure all these things might be into consideration. I believe both can be on board. But right now we have an asphalt plant, so what's wrong with it?
And that's a question that they will have to answer. Anyway, just before I let you go, one other thing that always comes to mind when it comes to government setting up things is somebody once said something. He said, the problem we have is continuity. We also have the problem of maintenance culture. So now, what are your thoughts with reference to these two things here as far as the asphalt plant is concerned going forward? After this government, the next government comes in. Do you think that next government and favoring the plant, etc.?
Well, that's where there's a huge point. What will the next government do with it? Because if you are talking about this government, if this government is rebuilding the international or completing the International Conference Center, the Hotel Presidential, and other abandoned assets, moribund assets we have in Enugu, if they are doing that, I'm not sure they will want to abandon their own legacy project, because this will be their own legacy project. Someone will look back and say that so-and-so person built this. But just like you've raised the point, the real worry is what would the next governor do with this? But then you ask yourself, why wouldn't the next governor pay attention to the asphalt plant if it's going to crash the cost of road construction in your regime? If you are ordinarily going to spend 100 billion for a road project, and with you having your asphalt plant, it might crash the cost to maybe 40 billion or maybe something like that. You can plow that money to other things and have more legacy projects on your belt and to your name. The way things are going, if they abandon it, we'll remind them that they have abandoned it.
All right, we don't hope that happens. But then again, thank you so much, Alex, for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Kings.
Okay, very well. That'll be the size of the package right here. I've been playing host to Alex Obodo, who, of course, is the head of news and current affairs right here at Afia TV, Afia Radio. And we've been talking about this state-owned mega plant, mega asphalt plant. We're looking at the socio-economic implication. And this is the size of the package today on the Eastern Business Report. You can join in on this conversation, drop off a comment or two on our dedicated Afia Business YouTube channel. Kindly tap in the search bar www.youtube.com/@Afia Business. And while you're there, do well to like and, of course, subscribe so you get notifications on all business-related content coming to you from Afia TV. You're still watching the Afia Business Morning live from Enugu State, Nigeria. Coming up next is Onya Afia. My name is Ubong Kings. Stay tuned.